Hi there. Now we're going to do lesson 109, I rest in God. We ask for rest today and quietness unshaken by the world's appearances. We ask for peace and stillness in the midst of all the turmoil born of clashing dreams. Everybody has a different dream and they keep clashing with each other. You know, some people have a dream of getting healed at the hospital. Some people have a dream of getting out of jail. Some people have a dream of making a ton of money in the stock market. Some people have a dream of just staying home and being a mom. All these different dreams are all clashing. They're bumping up against each other. That's why we judge each other's dreams. We ask for safety and for happiness, although we seem to look on danger and on sorrow. You know, we're seeking out there in these clashing dreams. And we have the thought that will answer our asking with what we request. We have the thought that will answer our asking. Again, this is why we want to trust that this is true. It's going to give us the answer. Paragraph 2, I rest in God. This thought will bring to you the rest and quiet, peace and stillness, and the safety and the happiness you seek. I rest in God. This thought has power to wake the sleeping truth in you, whose vision sees beyond appearances to that same truth in everyone and everything there is. I rest in God. I am in the mind of God, and so is everybody else. Everybody's resting in God. It's not my job to poke them out of their dream so they can see that they're resting in God. It's my job to love them where they are so that they will see me as an example, that they might say, my gosh, I'm so full of anxiety and stress and drama in my life. How is it that you're so peaceful? Tell me about it. And then I can point to what helped me. I can point to the Course in Miracles. I can point to the power of awareness. I can point to various teachers that have been instrumental in my life. But it's not my job to wake them up. It's my job to assist by pointing to what helped me. Just sharing that. But they won't come and ask me unless I'm peaceful. That's just the way that it works. So sentence number 5 in paragraph 2. Here is the end of suffering for all the world and everyone who ever came and yet will come to linger for a while. Here is the thought in which the Son of God is born again to recognize himself. I rest in God. Paragraph 3, I'm going to read that again because that's how it starts. I rest in God. Completely undismayed, this thought will carry you through storms and strife, past misery and pain, past loss and death, and onward to the certainty of God. When I was going through my divorce with Ken, I knew I had to rest in God. I knew my safety was in God. As Ken took his money, as Ken began to not pay for things, as I began to find myself all alone, having to do things now all by myself after I had somebody who promised that they were going to do things with me, I had such peace in my heart, such certainty in my heart that everything would be okay. And it has been. As Spencer was doing drugs and I rested in God and I said, God, he is yours. He doesn't belong to me. He's yours. And you gave him to me only to love like you love him. I rested in God and released Spencer to God. Then I was told what to do. The stillness in my mind was profound. I could hear exactly what to say to Spencer. Powerful. There is no suffering it cannot heal the certainty of God. There is no suffering it cannot heal. There is no problem that it cannot solve. And no appearance but will turn to truth before the eyes of you who rest in God. Happened to me. It'll happen for you. But I was willing to look for that. You have to be willing to let your mistaken thinking, your ego mind, be incorrect. You got to be willing to say, this thinking is wrong. This is wrong thinking. God, what would you have me do? I want to rest in you. Beautiful and powerful. Paragraph 4. This is the day of peace. You rest in God, and while the world is torn by winds of hate, your rest remains completely undisturbed. Yours is the rest of truth. Appearances cannot intrude on you. You You call to all to join you in your rest, and they will hear and come to you because you rest in God. Why do you think we admire Martin Luther King Jr. or Gandhi or Mother Teresa or Jesus or Buddha or Moses was admired? Why? Because we knew that there was something that they were certain about. There was a peace about them as they were doing what they were doing. So they had followers because the followers could feel the peace in these people. They were resting in something greater. They were resting in God. They will not hear another voice than yours because you gave your voice to God. And now you rest in Him and let Him speak through you. I love it when God speaks for me. I love it when God loves on everybody and says, hello, beautiful. Hello, love. It's just so amazing because that's what comes. It just to uplift everybody. It's just God speaking through me. It's just so amazing. Paragraph 5. In Him you have no cares and no concerns, no burdens, no anxiety, no pain, no fear of future, and no past regrets. I regret nothing from my past, none whatsoever. I used to, but once I began to rest in God, why would I regret what happened and it's done and over with? I am present to what is happening now. That's why with Dan, I'm not really planning a future. It doesn't matter. I don't want to go there. It doesn't matter to me. I don't do 5-year plans for my business. I don't do 3-year plans. I don't do 1-year plans. I don't do 1-month plans. I live in the now moment and I do what I'm being inspired to do, and I trust that that is all I need to do. And when the inspiration comes to write, I write. When the inspiration comes to sit, I sit. When the inspiration comes to walk, I walk. It's so beautiful because my guidance comes from God. When others don't understand that and want to begin to judge it, and you didn't do this, you didn't fulfill, then they don't understand what I'm resting in. So they've got their own stories about what should be right and what's wrong, and then they're judging me from that place. It's okay. I'm not answering to them. I only answer to one source. The boss of me is God, and I like it that way. So let me read this sentence again. Paragraph 5. In Him you have no cares and no concerns, no burdens, no anxiety, no pain, no fear of future, and no past regrets. Do the thoughts of fear come into my mind? Yes, but I don't believe them, so they go away. I don't entertain them, so they cannot stay. I remove the Velcro, which was the righteousness. So when those thoughts come, it's like they're sliding off of, like if I was Teflon. They just slide right off of me because I don't entertain them as truth. When I do entertain them as truth, I begin to feel tight and tense and constricted. It does not feel good because thinking with God feels good. I know I'm thinking with the ego, so I can just shift myself out of that. I shift my thoughts. I lift my vibration immediately. In timelessness, you rest. That's why I don't have to do anything at any specific time because I live in eternity. While time goes by without its touch upon you, yes, the weeks go by, the months go by, and people can say, well, you say you're going to write your book last year or 2 years ago and it's not done. So what? In timelessness you rest, while time goes by without its touch upon you. For your rest can never change in any way at all. You rest today. And as you close your eyes, sink into stillness. Let these periods of rest and respite reassure your mind that all its frantic fantasies were but the dreams of fever that has passed away. Let it be still and thankfully accept its healing. No more fearful dreams will come now that you rest in God. Fear doesn't take over me because whenever I need something, the inspiration of where to get it, how to do it, it comes. The people that help synchronistically show up. My work is to not fret, to not be anxious, but to keep trusting. And through that, everything has always worked perfectly, always. All that suffering that I did, worrying about things that never happened, or worrying about things that happened, but I moved through them. All of it passed. All that anxiety passed. All of that stress passed because I rested in God. Paragraph 5, sentence 8. Take time today to slip away from dreams and into peace. Each hour that you take your rest today, a tired mind is suddenly made glad. A bird with broken wings begins to sing. A stream long dry begins to flow again. The world is born again each time you rest. And hourly, remember that you came to bring the peace of God into the world, that it might make its rest along with you. We are the bringers of salvation by resting in God, releasing the world. So paragraph 7. With each 5 minutes that you rest today, the world is nearer waking. So when we begin to pull back our judgments, we're actually helping the world come closer to awakening. Why? Because now there's one less person asleep. We're not asleep anymore. Sentence number 2, paragraph 7. And the time when rest will be the only thing there is comes closer to all worn and tired minds, too weary now to go their way alone. And the time when rest will be the only thing there is comes closer to all worn and tired minds, too weary now to go their way alone. Eventually, there's going to be a few left, and they're just going to say, hey, let us have some of that peace. It may be a couple generations, but that day is coming. And they will hear the bird begin to sing and see the stream begin to flow again, with hope reborn and energy restored to walk with lightened steps along the road that suddenly seems easy as they go. Why? Because when 40, 50, 60, 80% of the population is awake, the few that are left, it's going to be so much easier for them. They're going to go, wait a second, why am I the only one stressing here when 80% of the people are so happy? Right now, it's the reverse. There may be 10% that are happy when 90% are stressing, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to be an example that people really trust. But more and more are waking up. So this is happening. Why? Because God has a plan to call us back to wake up. Paragraph 8. You rest within the peace of God today and call upon your brothers from your rest to draw them to their rest along with you. You will be faithful to your trust today, forgetting no one, bringing everyone into the boundless circle of your peace, the holy sanctuary where you rest. Yes, we're going to be faithful to releasing the world from our judgments, because when we release them from our judgments, we bring people into our circle of peace. Why? Because we're inside of a holy sanctuary. When you're peaceful, you stand out in the world filled with anxiety. You absolutely stand out as someone who has found something that everybody else wants, that they're numbing themselves with pills or drinking alcohol to not feel, or taking drugs to give them a high of something that might feel better than what they're experiencing when their mind is all busy attacking them. Sentence number 3 in paragraph 8. Open the temple doors and let them come from far across the world, and near as well, your distant brothers and your closest friends. Bid them all enter here and rest with you. It doesn't matter what lifetime, it doesn't matter what country, it doesn't matter what continent, what town, what room in your house others are in. You can be the presence of peace, and in your heart know that you want everyone to receive this, that you wish for them this peace. You wish for them to rest in God because you have found it. You want them to have what you have. So you give them the blessing. I bless everybody and I release everybody from my judgments. That's how they get their peace, because they're not getting a piece of your mind. What a beautiful gift that is. You give and receive. As you feel, you receive peace as you give peace. You receive a blessing as you give a blessing. You feel love, you receive love as you give love. What a beautiful plan. Paragraph 9. You rest within the peace of God today, quiet and unafraid. Each brother comes to take his rest and offer it to you. We rest together here, for thus our rest is made complete. And what we give today, we have received already, because we're giving what was already inside of us. That's how we activate it and feel it again. Time is not the guardian of what we give today. We give to those unborn and those passed by, to every thought of God, and to the mind in which these thoughts were born and where they rest. You bless the future generations, your grandchildren yet to be born, your great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren yet to be born. You bless the ancestors. You go backwards and you bless everybody. Why? Because it's all one energy. And as you give love and forgiveness to the past, you are giving it to the future as well, because it's one continuous loop. Time is a big circle. We're just going around in a circle, a merry-go-round that keeps expanding like a spiral. It keeps going out and out and out. There is no end to this, just continuous expansion. And we remind them of their resting place each time we tell ourselves, I rest in God. I rest in God. May you find your rest in God by you choosing to trust what you've been reading. Thank you and have a magnificent day.